today for our free lecture of Rules 7 and 8. So I'll just go ahead and introduce to you our speaker or the one who will lecture it to you. So our lecturer is Bachelor of Laws, graduate of the Philippine Law School in 2018. He took his oath of office as a construction arbitrator before Chief Justice Lucas P. Bersamin of the Supreme Court of the Philippines on August 8, 2019, and an accredited construction arbitrator of the Construction Industry Arbitration Commission. He is also a trained commercial arbitrator of the Philippines Dispute Resolution Center. In October 6, 2021, his name, together with architect Glenn Opiniano and architect Antonio Laveria, was among those listed in the nomination of the possible appointment for the Professional Regulatory Board of Architecture, published in the official website of the Professional Regulation Commission on October 18, 2021. He also completed his pre-law course at La Consolacion College, Bacolod, with a Bachelor of Science in Architecture in 1997 and an architect. He formally joined De La Salle Dasmariñas Technological Institute of the Philippines, La Consolacion College, Bacolod, and Central Colleges of the Philippines. He is an architect whose expertise in the industry has been acknowledged in the field such as building laws, architects' professional practice and ethics, construction contracts and claims management, and construction arbitration. He was a former contracts manager of Santa Clara International Corporation, a former contracts manager of Ryder Livet Bucknell, Philippines, and a former vice president of contracts and project management of YEC International Engineering Services. He recently served his last employment as the contract manager of Megawide Construction Corporation. Currently, he is engaged in private practice in the field of architecture, specializing in different modes of alternative dispute resolution, such as construction contracts and claims management, commercial arbitration, mediation, and construction arbitration. In 2008, he published a book, The Essentials of the Practice of Architecture. In 2019, he published another book, RA 9266, The Architecture Act of 2004, Q&A with notes and cases. Both are available at Central Bookstore nationwide. Our speaker holds membership in various professional organizations in law, arbitration, and architecture. He is a proud member of the following distinguished organizations: the Philippine Institute of Architects, or PIA, the American Institute of Architects, or AIA, Philippine Dispute Resolution Center, PDRCI, and Philippine Institute of Construction and Mediators, PICAM, Philippine Institute of Arbitrators, PIARB, and Mu Kappa Phi, an exclusive law fraternity and sorority established in 1948. Our lecturer for today is arbitrator architect Alfredo A. Fernandez, OBL OSB, LLB, PIA, HMPIA, International Association of Architects International Associations of the American Institute of Architects, CIAC Arbitrator, and PICAM. Grabe na. Ang haba.
Okay, thank you, Miss Anne, and welcome everyone to this free lecture of Rules 7 and 8. Nakikita yung slides?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is Rules 7 and 8. And can anyone Yes, merong tanong.
Pa-open kung ganun pa sila nga.
Ni-chat na ron.
Paki-mute po natin kung wala tayong tanong na para hindi tayo makakapag-disturb ng lecture. Okay, so this is rule 7 and 8. A free lecture for all of you, no, as our contribution to your goal in becoming an architect this coming June 2024. And may I ask, sino na nakapag-rule 7 and 8 dito sa ibang review centers? Can you raise your hand, please? Ayan. Ayan. So marami na, no? Okay. So in this lecture, you will see later on that there is really a big difference between the lectures of other review centers and my lecture at Maestros Studio, and even my lectures to the practicing architects, no, in our community. In some review centers kasi is ang tinuturo lang is on how to familiarize the charts, no? But what we are going to do today is how to pass the licensure exam, and at the same time how to use this rule 7 and 8 when you are in your practice later on, no? Kasi sa totoo lang, this rule 7 and 8, ito yung nagpapahirap sa lahat ng mga architects, designers during the processing or approval of the building permit applications, no? Pag submit mo ng iyong building permit applications, hindi ka agad gumagalaw sa Office of the City Planning and Development Office dahil nga kadalasan is non-compliance, no, with the development control. And with that, nagiging source of corruption ng ating mga government officials, no? Dahil sa hindi compliant, minsan nagre-resort tayo doon sa pagbibigay ng ECC, no? Yung ECC sa environmental ay environmental clearance certificate, no? Pero dito yung ECC dito is envelope containing cash, no? And then later on, mabibigyan ng approval even though non-compliant, hindi natin nagagawa bilang isang arkitekto yung goal natin, no, that we are going to put an order our society being an architect of this country. So nawawala yung goal na yun, no? So hangga't maaari is dapat hindi natin gagawin, no, na magre-resort tayo doon sa pagbigay ng envelope containing cash, just your permit to be approved even though non-compliant. Kasi ang magsasuffer ang community, di ba? No? Ngayon climate change, pinag-uusapan natin, sobrang init. Later on, you will realize that by not properly doing this development control based on Rule 7 and 8, yan ang resulta ng mainit, no, na environment sa loob ng ating structures. Okay? So, Miss Ann,
Yes.
naka-record na ba?
Hindi. Nasa yung yung option to record.
Okay, sige.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so we will start with our discussion on decoding Rule 7 and 8 of Presidential Decree 1096 and its revised implementing rules and regulations. As a general rule class, itong Rule 7 and 8 mag-a-apply lamang, no, kung mayroong absence of any requirements on the development control on the deed of restrictions of any subdivisions and doon sa mga planned unit development. So kung mayroong restrictions na sarili ang isang subdivision, mayroong restrictions na sarili or planned unit development yung mga central business districts, mag-a-apply ang kanilang restrictions. In the absence of that restrictions, magre-resort ka ngayon sa zoning ordinance ng city or municipality kung saan yung project is located. That's the general rule. No, kasi ang dami ko nakikita sa Facebook, palagi sinasabi, dapat Rule 7 and 8, violation ng building code, etc. No? The building code will only be a suppletory provision in the absence of that deed of restrictions na hindi na i-provide doon sa mga subdivisions, sa mga planned unit development like Ortigas, Eastwood, Makati, BGC. No? Pag wala yon, magre-resort ka ngayon sa zoning ordinance ng isang city or municipality. But most of the cities and municipalities na hindi kompleto ang kanilang ordinances with regards to development control, ang ginagawa nila dyan is in the absence of any provisions, the provisions of the National Building Code of the Philippines shall apply. Doon ngayon papasok ang Rule 7 and 8. Yun ay general rule. Klaro? So hindi yan kaagad Rule 7 and 8. But mostly of the subdivisions, mostly of the cities and municipalities, talagang kulang ang kanilang restrictions. So in the absence of that, lacking restrictions in the cities, municipalities, subdivisions, i-apply mo ngayon ang provisions ng Rule 7 and 8. Klaro tayo, class? Klaro. Okay. In this lecture, hindi tayo magsisimula kaagad ng computations. No? Ang computations natin is on the later part. Kasi useless ang magiging computations na yan if hindi ninyo naintindihan ang mga principles behind to be used in that computations. No? Hindi lang natin pinag-uusapan dito PSO, TLA, ISA, USA. Ang pinaka-importante dito, class, ay ang principle na gagamitin kung paano mo i-compute yung mga nababanggit na yan, including building height limit, that you will apply it later on when you design a structure or when you design and develop your lot. Klaro tayo, no? So yun ang magiging scenario. Now, I have my summary notes on this lecture. At yung summary notes na ginawa ko, manuscript ko to, kasi maglalabas ako ng sarili kong Rule 7 and 8. Explained now with sample computations. So that will be the one that I will be going to use in this lecture. At hindi ito sunod-sunod kagaya ng inahawakan ninyong libro. No? Kasi yung sa libro ninyo, kalat-kalat yan. No? Tapon-tapon. No? So yung magiging notes ko, in-arrange ko yon, on how it should be pag nag-design ka. No? So kung ano yung mga notes na nandiyan naman lahat sa inyong libro. Hindi lahat ay mapipick up natin, but in our fundamentals sa Message Studio, hinimay-himay ko yon, lahat. Page by page. But in this lecture, I will give you the most important provisions that you will be used during the licensure examination and in your practice later on. Okay? Clear na tayo? You can take your coffee habang nagle-lecture tayo. No? You can take your snacks habang nagle-lecture tayo. Wala tayong problema dyan. Ang pinapakiusap ko lang, as much as possible, I am requesting everyone to open their cameras. No, kasi hindi ko nakikita yung mga facial expressions ninyo kung naiintindihan ba ninyo yung lecture or hindi. Okay? Pangalawa, hindi ko malalaman kung medyo pagod na yung utak ninyo at kailangan natin magkaroon ng break time, no? Para makapag-refresh. Pangatlo, palitan natin yung mga avatars natin. No? Kung nasa office tayo at wala tayong cameras, no? As much as possible yung pictures natin. No? Kasi ang hirap mag-lecture sa mga avatars. No? Na nagle-lecture ka sa mga aso. No? So mahirap yun sa part ng lecturer. When I am teaching in the academic institution, usually I request my students, no, to be physically present. No? Kasi in one instance, nagtuturo ako, tumawag ako ng recitations, na ayaw magbukas ng camera. So pinilit ko magbukas ng camera. Nung magbukas ng camera, nandun sa basketball court. No? Nagba-basketball. Wala sa klase. No? So not physically present. But I presume that all of you are in the ladder of becoming a professional. No? So you are to become a professionals in the coming months. No? So you should act as what a professional should be. No? Yun lang pinaka-importante doon. Kasi pagka hindi kayo nag-act as professionals, you are not yet fit, no, to join the noble profession. Okay? So let's start. Nakikita, gumagalaw yung slides. Okay. Yung nakikita niyo sa screen ngayon, yan ang tinatawag nating land use map. No? Land use map. And itong land use map ay ang land use map ng Metro Manila. Okay? Why I am showing you this land use map? Kasi ang unang hahanapin ninyo, when you have project later on, when you become an architect, nagkaroon ka ng kliyente, ang una mong pupuntahan ay ang City Planning and Development Office or yung zoning office ng isang city or municipality. At ito ang una mong titingnan, yung land use map na yan. Ano ang importance ng land use map? That designates kung saan mo makikita yung tinatawag nating R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, Commercial 1, Commercial 2, Commercial 3, General Institutional, Industrial. No? Yang mapa na yan ang nagdi-designate kung saan nakalocate ang mga nababanggit. Dahil sa mapa na yan, dyan mo masasabi na, hindi tayo pwedeng magpatayo ng residential sa area na to kasi naka-zoning siya as industrial. No? That's the importance of that land use map. Nakakalungkot minsan dahil sa eskwelahan ay hindi masyadong itinuturo ng mga ibang professors, no, kung paano talaga ang gamit dito. So later on, makikita natin na kaya pala may land use map kasi nandito pala itong mga R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. Ano-ano yung mga yon. No? So kung makikita ninyo, di ba? Naka-color coded sa legend, no? At nakalagay diyan, ito yung high intensity residential zones like R3, Commercial 2, Commercial 3, Institutional, no? And may kaakibat siya na mga colors doon sa inyong land use map. That is the importance of land use map in the development control and to make order in our urban development in our city, municipality, and even in the province. Klaro, ha? Klaro. Next, tingnan natin ngayon ang urban development, for example, sa ibang country, Dubai. No? Yan ang development ng Dubai way back then. Ngayon, ang Dubai, nandyan yung kanyang Central Business District. Pag makita natin yung Central Business District ng Dubai, nakasentro sa isang area ang lahat ng high-rise structures. And nasa labas nun ang kanyang low-rise structures. Naka-zone, no? Naka-zone ng maayos. The vision of Abu Dhabi 2030, same at the United Arab Emirates. Yung mga central business district niya, ito yon. At saka yung government structures niya, yan yung nasa loob. The rest ng residentials, industrial, nasa labas ng business district na yon. That is how their structures are being put in order. Singapore. No, sa Singapore, hindi nakahalo, no, yung mga residential doon sa mga high-rise buildings. While there are also high-rise buildings in some part of that area or portion, pero talagang controlled na controlled. No? At hindi nakakasira ng vision. No? Yung Iloilo ngayon, no, nagde-develop doon sa Mandurriao. Yung dating old airport, no? Yung harapan nun is part na ngayon ng property ni Mega World, no? At nandiyan na yung SM City Iloilo, no? Nandiyan na yung building ni Injap, no? So doon ang simula ng business district, no, ng Iloilo. So how about Metro Manila? No? Nakikita ba natin ang Metro Manila? Maganda ba ang ating urban development? Maganda ba sa tingin ninyo? No? Pag tininan mo sa taas, para tayo parang basurahan, no? Di ba? No? Yan. So kung makita natin, no, in Metro Manila, may high-rise dito, may high-rise doon, no? May mga kabuti. May mga kabuti na tumutubo. No? Ano sa tingin niyo yung problema? Sabi ni Palafox, no? Urban planning decisions are made by urban planners in the rest of the world. In our country, decisions are made by politicians. And that is true, class. That is true. Kasi minsan, di ba? Napakaganda nung ginawa mong land use map. Ikaw yung building official, may nag-process, no? Halimbawa, sa land use map, dito na bilong yung R2. Gusto ng magpapatayo, i-adapt yung R3 maximum. Yung R3 maximum up to 12 story. Pero yung lot niya ay nabilong sa R2 that limits only on 6 story. So ipagbawal sa building official dahil hindi siya pwede magpatayo ng 12 story, only 6 story. Ano gagawin ng kaibigan ni Mayor? Aakyat kay Mayor. Di ba? Pag akyat kay Mayor, sasabihan ngayon ni Mayor yung kanyang building official or city engineers na nag-act as building official in the absence of the appointment of building officials. Sasabihin ng Mayor, i-approve mo yan, ako na yung bahala dyan. So hindi natin napuput in order. Yan ang sinasabi ni Palafox. No? That urban planners in the rest of the world, ang decision nun ay talagang architects, registered urban planners, but in the Philippines, decisions are made by politicians. Sila yung nasusunod. No? So nawawala ang ating pag-put in order doon sa ating society and sa ating urban development. Okay. Important tables to memorize. Now, ito lang pinakatatandaan ninyo for purposes of board examinations. And of course, for the practice later on. So, bago natin i-discuss yung mga principles, gusto kong i-enlighten yung mind ninyo. No? Kung paano natin yan gagamitin. Okay. For purposes of board examination class, pagka ang hinahanap sa exam later on ay PSO or percentage of site occupancy, you can screenshot PSO, percentage of site occupancy, allowable maximum building footprint, maximum allowable construction area, impervious surface area, unpaved surface area, total open space of the lot. Punta ka sa table 8.1. Okay? Nasusundan nasusundan. Sabihan niyo ako pagka medyo mabilis ako. Okay? So pagka hinahanap ay PSO, EMBF, MACA, ISA, TOSL, punta ka sa table 8.1. Dapat kung may tab kayo, yun ang nakalagay sa tab ninyo para mas madali. Kung i-allow ng exam ng proctor, no? Pero kung hindi i-allow ng proctor, memorize this table. Itong pinapakita kong chart, memorize mo lang. Madali mo nang hanapin 'yon. Okay? Yes, question? Klaro tayo Okay. Pagka ang hinahanap ay building height limit or resultant BHL, punta ka sa table 7.2. And i-complement mo, i-cross mo siya doon sa section 707, number 3, letter B. Number 3, letter B. Later on, makikita ninyo as we go on, no, binabasa natin yung principles, makikita ninyo ano-ano yung mga yan. Kung walang questions, paki-mute Okay? Pagka ang hinahanap, no, pag tinanong ka ng allowable floor areas based on PSO or TLA, punta ka sa table 7.1. Yan yung direct computation na pagkuha ng TGFA. Direct yon. No, hindi mo na kailangan mag-design. Pwede kang mag-approximate para makapagbigay ka ng iyong architect's fee. So tingnan niyo sa questions sa exam, pagka yan yung mga hinahanap. Yan yung mga table na pupuntahan. Pagka ang hinahanap class ay GFA, FLAR, building bulk, punta ka sa table 7.G.1. I-cross-check mo rin siya pag nag-design ka later on. I-cross-check mo rin siya sa section 707, number 3, letter B. So, pagka hinahanap, gross floor area, floor to lot area ratio, building bulk, table 7.G.1. Nakuha mo na yung iyong gross floor area based on table 7.G.1. Kailangan mo siyang i-convert into TGFA. Punta ka sa table 7.G.2. Kailangan mo makuha yung actual or resultant allowable maximum volume ng building. Or ang question, for example, ay determine the incremental setback. Punta ka sa table 7.G.3. Note mo rin ang section 804 number 6. Ang illustration niya ay nasa figure 8.20. Pagka yan yung mga hinahanap. Pagka yan ang mga hinahanap. Pagka ang hinahanap ay setback, courts, yards, punta ka ngayon sa table 8.2 sa residential and table 8.3 pagdating sa commercial. Setback yan, setback or determination ng courts and yards. Pag residential, table 8.2, pag commercial, table 8.3. I-correlate mo yan pagdating sa residential, i-correlate mo siya sa Civil Code of the Philippines Article 670, 671, 672, 673. O, hindi nyo yan maririnig sa ibang review centers. No? Hindi nila yan kinokorrelate sa civil code. O, setback yan. Take note of easement. No? May tinatawag tayong easement of light and view, di ba? No? Easement along bodies of water. So itong easement na ito yung easement along bodies of water.
Sige, ma'am. Okay.
Pamute,
Opo.
pamute please.
Sige po. Sige po. Okay po. Yes po. Sige po.
Pamute please.
Ano?
Okay na? Okay, easement. Easement along bodies of water. Pag sinabi nating easement along bodies of water, pagka along urban area, ang easement natin from the side of waterways ay 3 meters. Side of waterways. Kung saan yung pinaka-tip ng tubig doon sa edge, no? 3 meters. Pagka-agricultural area, ang easement mo from the side waterway ng bodies of water ay 20 meters. Pagka-forest area, 40 meters. Note of that. And then we have suggested lot sizes. Pagka ang hinahanap sa exam ay, ano ba yung suggested lot sizes, for example, in R1, in R2, in R3, R4, etc. Punta ka sa table 8.G.7. Table 8.G.7. Pagka ang hinahanap sa exam, tinatanong ka ng ano ba yung mga minimum parking requirements? Punta ka sa table 7.4. Pagka ang tanong ay firewall provisions. So, firewall provisions. Punta ka sa section 704 ng revised IRR o yung hinahawakan ninyo ngayon, no? Pagka firewall provision, that section 704 should be correlate to the Civil Code of the Philippines, Article 667, 668, 669. Correlate that again to the Civil Code of the Philippines, Article 1146, number 1, and Article 1149. So, kailangan mo i-correlate yan. Sa libro ninyo, walang civil code dyan. No? Hindi nila yan, hindi nakalagay dyan. Because of course, ang nag-prepare ng revised IRR are architects and engineers. No? They are not the law expert. Kaya pag binasa ninyo ang inyong libro, nakalagay lang dyan sa first part, no? Na refer also to the provisions of the new Civil Code of the Philippines. Yan ang nakalagay dyan. Klaro na? Klaro ha? O, mamaya gagamitin natin yan. Gagamitin natin. Okay. So, part 1. Preliminary topics muna tayo. Punta tayo sa General Rule and Design Principles. Section 702. Hawak nyo naman yung Rule 7 and 8 nyo, no? Hawak nyo naman. So, kung ano yung mga babanggitin ko dyan, hanapin nyo na lang dyan sa inyong notes. Section 702. Ano ang sinasabi ng Section 702? No change shall be made in the character of occupancy of any building which would place the building in different divisions of the same group of occupancy or in a different group of occupancies. Ano yung requirements? Unless such building is made to comply with the requirements of the code for such division or group of occupancy. The character of occupancy of existing buildings may be changed subject to the approval of the building official, and the building may be occupied for purposes set forth in other groups, provided the new or proposed use is less hazardous based on life and fire risk than the existing use. So in Section 702, sinasabi diyan sa Rule 7 that you cannot change the character of your occupancy from, for example, residential to commercial, commercial to residential, without prior approval from the office of the building official. Kumuha ka ng building permit, ang in-apply mo sa building permit ay residential, nabigyan ka ng occupancy permit or certificate of completion mo ay residential, biglang ang gamit mo ay naging commercial, bawal. Okay? Bawal. Bakit? Kasi nga, when you design it, residential ang considerations. No? May mga pagbabago yan. Sir, space lang naman eh. Hindi. Bakit? Pag commercial yan, probably, no, magkakaroon ka ng mga ibang equipments. Example na lang natin. Nagpatayo ka ng 2-story residence. Doon sa pag-apply mo ng building permit, second floor lang yung may residential occupancy. Yung ground floor ay purely parking. Ginawa mo parang garage. Nabigyan ng certificate of occupancy. Nung nabigyan ng certificate of occupancy, kinonvert mo siya ngayon into commercial store. Naglagay ka ng freezer ng ice cream. Iba yung load nun pagdating doon sa electrical. So may effect yon. And that affects life, that affects fire risk. Pwedeng magkasunog pagka nag-overload based on the equipment provided na hindi na consider during the time na ikaw ay nag-apply ng building permit. Bakit? Residential eh. No? Hindi na consider yung loading. But it can be done if the building official will grant. Siyempre, ang building official, pagka yan ay sinabi mo sa kanila na i-convert ko na yung use ko into commercial, ay hahanapan ka ng building official ng amendatory plans. And kukuha ka ngayon ng amendatory permit. Na may tinatawag tayong amendatory permit. So take note of that, class, that you cannot really change occupancy and its use in accordance with Section 702 of Rule 7 of the revised IRR of PD 1096. Okay. Section 703. Another principle. when a building is of mixed occupancy or use for more than one occupancy. It applies to mixed use occupancy, either in a low-rise building or mid-rise building. The whole building shall be subject to the most restrictive requirement. Now, paano yung restrictive requirement? That will designate the occupancy classification. Halimbawa, residential commercial. No? Halimbawa, yung mga ginagawa ng mga Chinese people. No? Residential sa ground, residential sa second floor, third floor, commercial sa ground. So ano ba yung restrictive use? That will determine occupancy classification. Pero in letter B, sinasabi dyan, where minor accessory uses, no? Kung minor accessory lang naman ang naidagdag mo o nailagay mo doon sa mixed use ng iyong building and hindi siya lalagpas ng 10% of the area of any floor. So kung ano yung kanyang major use, that determine the occupancy classification. Klaro? Ha? In section 704, it says that no building shall be constructed unless it adjoins or has direct access to a public space, yard, street, on at least one of its side. Walang lote dapat na bounded siya ng lahat ng property na wala siyang daanan. Nangyayari lang yan pagka nag-subdivide ng lote yung mga heirs. Pero pag subdivision yan, hindi yan nangyayari. Okay. Ngayon, kung may isang mother lot, sinubdivide ng mga magkakapatid dahil mana nila yon, tapos agrabyado yung isang kapatid, no? Sinarhan siya nung lahat ng lote ng mga ibang magkakapatid. Ano ang pwede niyang gawin? Mag-file siya sa court ng petition para magkaroon siya ng easement of right of way. So, under the code, ano ang minimum dimension ng easement of right of way? 1.20 meters. At least 1.20 meters. Ihingin niya yon sa korte. Pag rinat ng korte, of course, he will pay just compensation doon sa portion na pagkukuhanan ng kanyang easement of right. Klaro? Ha? Okay. For the purpose of this section, the center line of an adjoining street or alley shall be considered an adjacent property line. Hindi yan sinasabi na adjacent lot mo pa yon. Ang sinasabi lang adjacent property line. No? Yung harapan ng bahay mo, no? Hanggang doon sa sentro ng kalsada, no? Tinatawag yun na adjacent property line. Kaya sinasabi nila na harapan mo, linisin mo. Yun lang yung sinasabi doon. Baka magtataka kayo, mayroong blanco sa gilid. No? Diyan dapat ako mag-i-sketch. No? Kung meron man akong i-sketch. If I use pag meron ako i-sketch dyan, dapat yan sa gilid pag gagamit ako ng aking tablet. Okay. Wait lang may nakabukas na microphone. Can you please mute Mr. Elmer?
Yes, sir. My apology.
Okay, letter C. Eaves of a required window shall not be less than 750 millimeters from the side and rear property lines. Sinasabi ng code na from the perimeter line may dimension ka dapat na minimum na 750 or 0.75 up to the edge of the roof gutter. Yan ang sinasabi ng code. Okay, well check na kung pwede akong sa kabila mag share.